Hi everyone, it is our Pilates Advent Calendar day number 3 and today's word is alignment. So we're going to be doing some lovely exercises to teach our bodies about alignment and get our joints working in the best alignment possible, which is going to protect you from injury and hopefully get rid of any aches and pains that you might be feeling as well. We're going to be starting in standing. So I'd like you to come to a position where you're standing correctly. And if you have a squishy ball like this one or a thick cushion, they're going to be super handy as well. So I would like you to stand with your feet hip distance apart and just feel the weight going down evenly through your left foot and your right foot. Let your arms hang heavy and imagine a piece of thread pulling up through the crown of your head all the way up towards the ceiling so you're standing nice and tall. From here, we're going to bring our feet ever so slightly closer together and pop that cushion on the ball between your knees. And that's really going to help you with your alignment here as we go into some Pilates squats. I'm going to show you from the side. So we have our feet slightly close together. We're going to take a deep breath in, and as we breathe in, we're going to sink down, sending our knees forward directly over our second toe, bottoms backwards as if you're about to go downhill skiing, and draw your core muscles in to support your spine. So let's breathe in, send our knees forward, bottom goes backwards. So remember to draw that internal core up, let your arms hang heavy, keep your knees going forward directly over your second toes. And press through up to standing. Really fully extend back up towards the ceiling. And again, imagine that piece of thread pulling through the crown of your head. So giving that little ball or cushion a squeeze is going to help you with your alignment here. And imagine a piece of string drawing your toe button up through the back of your spine. So you're really supporting and you're in neutral spine and pelvis throughout. Good. Maybe feeling that your quads and your glutes are switching on already. Squatting down. Coming up, but don't worry about how far down you can go. The most important thing is that you're squatting with fantastic alignment and quality of movement. Let's go down once again. Squatting down, pressing up, and our final one here, squatting down and coming back up. Great. So now we've done some alignment with our legs. We're going to work onto our arms and shoulders by going into a lateral arm float. So for this, we're going to bring our arms up directly in line with our shoulders. So standing back with your feet hip distance apart, we're going to take a deep breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, start floating your arms forward in line with your shoulders, keeping an eye on them, and then take them all the way up towards the ceiling so they should still be shoulder distance apart. Reaching forward as you inhale and lowering them back down. Great, let's go again. We're going to inhale to prepare and exhale to float. Keep your toe muscles coming in. My hands have disappeared off the top of the screen. And reach them forward and down. So throughout this exercise, we're keeping our bodies completely still. So there's no arching forwards or swaying backwards. So we're simply floating our arms up, drawing our toe muscles in, and reach your arms back forward and down, okay? Trying to move them simultaneously all the way up and lower down. Fantastic. Okay, let's put those two exercises together now. So we're going to go into a squat with a lateral arm float. So once again, feet go slightly closer than hip distance apart. Use the ball or the cushion between your knees if you wish. We're going to sink down as we inhale and simultaneously float your arms up just like we've practiced as you squat down. Toe muscles drawing in. Pause here. Press back through and up. Lovely. Going again. So we're taking our body slightly off center because of the weight of our arms. So you're going to have to use your core muscles to work even harder. Let's go again. Squatting down as we inhale. Check what's going on with your knees. Make sure one's not falling out or falling in. Coming back up. Good. And we have two more here. Tummy muscles drawing in towards your spine. Keeping the back of your neck really long. And our final one. Maybe trying to get a millimetre further down with that squat now. And press back up through to our standing position. Well done. Okay, so we're going to come down onto the mat now and do some 4-point kneeling work. So I'd like you just to come down into 4-point kneeling however you wish. So sending yourself down and setting yourself up. Just going to adjust this slightly so you can see me properly. Setting yourself up with your knees directly beneath your hips and your hands directly beneath your shoulders. Super. Okay, so it's really important that you get that alignment in before we start. So take your time, line yourself up, and make sure you've got plenty of space between your fingers to support you. And we're going to check what's going on through our elbows now. So rather than having your elbows pointing forwards like mine do, try to turn them so that the centers of your elbows are pointing each other. That's going to give you a lot more strength. We're going to start with a single leg slide, okay? So keeping your toe on the floor and imagining there's a direct line behind your hip. Let's breathe out and start to slide that leg away, fully extending through that leg before drawing back in. Now you're keeping your spine completely still. There's no movement going on whatsoever, so you're not tilting your pelvis. And we're sliding back. Now this can be really helpful if you have somebody near you, so they can tell you if you're sliding away in line with your hip or if you're taking your leg away on an angle. So keeping our toe muscles coming in, you can see there's no rotation through the back of my spine at all. If you find that you're tilting, you're not using your core muscles hard enough. Check that when you bring your knees back in, you'll go directly underneath your hips. And we're going to go 2 more times on each side before we make this slightly more complicated. So sliding away. 1 more time on each side, sorry. Sliding away, good. And coming back. Right, from here, we're going to go into a leg lift now. So again, we're working in perfect alignment with our hips. So as we inhale, we slide one leg back, fully extending. And then as we exhale, we're going to float that leg up so that it's in line with our hip, in line with our spine, lower down, and slide your knee back underneath you. Going on the other side, we're inhaling to slide and exhaling for the hardest part of the movement, reaching through your toe, trying to get a really long leg out behind you in line with your hip and your spine, lowering down and returning. Great. Going again, keeping the back of your head really long, lengthening up, lower down and return. Good. And our last one here, keep your toe muscles coming all the way up and in as you float that leg. Lower down and return. Fantastic. Okay, so you can sit back over your heels. Give your hands a little bit of a rock out here before we go into our next one, which is where we're going to move our arms in great alignment. So exactly the same, starting with our arms. So set yourself up once again. Take the time to make sure you're in the correct position. I'm going to start with those simple arm slides. So as you breathe out, keep your fingers on the floor and just start to reach away. And it's really easy here for you to see if your arm is in line with your shoulder. Bring back through. Keep your shoulders square to the floor. Feel your core muscles switching on as you go from a really stable 4-point kneeling to a less stable off-center 3-point kneeling. Good. Sliding away, getting that shoulder moving. And again, keep your core connection throughout this exercise. So very similar start to when we did those lateral floating arms just now. Brilliant. Sliding away. We've got one last one on this one before we add in that lift. So when we lift, we're going to lift in line with our shoulders once again. Sliding away and coming back. Okay, and now we're going to go into the lift up to shoulder height. So inhaling to slide, exhaling to reach right directly in front of you and float the arm up in line with your shoulder. Bring your fingers down and return. Going on the other side, sliding and floating. Back down and return. Good. So hopefully, because we warmed our shoulders up to start with, you're going to be able to float that arm up quite smoothly. But remember, at all points, you're reaching through your fingers, so you're getting lots of length through the arm and space in that shoulder joint. Good. Keeping your shoulders square to the floor and your hips square as well. Feeling those toe muscles working to make sure you're not dipping down into the floor. Last one here, sliding and floating. Bring back down and return. Great. Now we're going to put those 2 exercises together to come into a tabletop 2. So as well as working on your alignment, you're going to probably be practicing your coordination, your balance and your core control as well. So back to 4-point kneeling. As we inhale, we slide opposite arm and opposite leg away in direct alignment with our shoulder and our hip. And breathe out to float, reaching through our finger, reaching through our toe, keeping your spine really long. Lower down with control. And return. Fantastic. Make sure your knees and your hands are directly underneath your hips and your shoulders. And let's go again. We're going to slide, reaching through, float, reaching through your fingers and your toes. Really strong here. Lowering down and return. One more to each side here. So sliding and floating. Try not to hit anything. Keeping your hips and your shoulders square to the floor once again. Returning. And our last one, sliding, floating up, back down, and then sit back onto your heels to give your hands a rest. Come into a seated position, however suits you, and just roll your wrist around to get some movement out of that joint there. Okay, we're going to take our arms out to the side, take a deep breath in, breathing out, float all the way up, reaching through your fingers, and press the air away. And one more time, breathing out, reaching all the way up, and press the air away, and give yourself a clap. Well done. Thanks so much for joining me today. Remember, you can replay this lesson if you want to practice that tabletop 2 once again. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how you get on, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.